Hello everyone, it is Jalen and Maria back again with another video from the Francophile, and in today's video we're going to be talking about our love story. We're going to talk about it in a way that relates to French, because French is something that Maria and I have bonded over and that we bond over now, and it's a huge part of our relationship and a huge part of our story together. Before we get started with the video, make sure you check out our website, check out our social media, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's get started. Okay, so let's begin in 2011. So this is the year that Maria and I started high school at the same school. We were freshmen, getting to know the people that we were going to school with, finding our interests. I found mine, it was sports, and for Maria, it was French.
So I didn't start taking language until 9th grade, and I really quickly fell in love with it. I ended up being an officer of the French club. I was in the French National Honor Society. I took the National French exam every year. And I even went on an exchange my sophomore year to France, which was my first time out of the country in general, and also my first time to any Francophone country.
So at this point, I haven't met Maria. Like, we haven't met. I'm sure we've seen each other in the hallways and stuff like that, but we haven't like formally met. Well,
what did you know about me?
we kind of had met because we had that history class together,
I think.
Yeah, so like we had met and I'd like spoken to her a couple times, but like nothing serious. I mean, I might have asked her on a date or something, but we never went on the date.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, so that's basically the setup into 2014, which is when we really met, like, and we're serious about, you know, being together. I think I started texting you while you were in France, actually.
Yeah, I had gone back to France to stay with my host family from the exchange that I mentioned earlier. I stayed almost a month, I think 3 weeks-ish, something around there.
Yeah.
We did all sorts of fun stuff, but yeah, while I was there, he was texting me. I think it was actually Twitter DMs.
Yeah. So later in the year, I actually, in October of 2014, went to Ireland. So we were not yet dating, but like every day we were basically texting each other or something.
That sounds so corny and teenagery.
So when I came back from Ireland, like 2 weeks later, I was like, do you want to be my girlfriend? And she said yeah. So that's when we started dating.
There's never really a moment where I sat him down and said, if you want to be my partner, you need to learn how to speak French. It just sort of naturally progressed to where you were interested in it.
Like, I was trying to impress her, I guess. So that's when I started learning. The first thing I picked up was Duolingo. I found the app on the App Store. I would take my phone into all sorts of like extracurricular activities, into class, and I would just be trying to learn French. Then I started finding more and more materials to help me learn. One of those things was Maria's old French stuff. So she had been taking French since 2011, like she said. So she had all these worksheets and stuff like that that I could use to help me learn French. So that was the first thing. The second thing that like started bringing us really close together was that I would be in class and I would write her notes. I think that's pretty normal in high school, like write your girlfriend notes in class. Like
only 90s kids remember.
I would try and write them in French as best I could. I would hand them off to her. She would correct them at home and then bring them back to me the next day corrected.
And I usually responded, I think, too.
Yeah,
so that you could read.
yeah. I actually still have a couple of the notes. It's just funny looking back on them because my French was horrible.
And mine was okay.
She would correct it and it was better, but when I look at the corrections now, some stuff is still wrong.
Yeah.
So it's just funny, like we were like bouncing off of each other, learning French and just getting closer, because I was trying to write stuff to her that was like telling her about my feelings, about my day, how much I like her, and stuff like that. So it just brought us closer together in that way. Another thing that's interesting is like I had studied languages before. She started taking language in high school. I started taking language in the first year of middle school. So that's when I started Spanish. I started because everyone around, it's like, you should learn Spanish because it's gonna be useful.
Not only that, but anything else is not useful.
Just a little side note, like any language you learn is gonna be useful, like if you want to learn it. Anyways, so I started taking Spanish. Then I got to high school and I began to take Latin. Because to get the diploma, you had to do 2 years of 2 different languages or 3 years of one.
I ended up doing 4 years of one.
And for me, I had done 2 years in middle school, so I needed another one when I got to high school. I chose Latin and I detested it. Then I switched to German in my sophomore year and I finished out my language requirement. And I learned nothing. I wasn't interested in learning a language. But with French, like, I took off. Like, I got obsessed. It might have been unhealthy, but I think it's because it was attached to Maria. Like, I was doing everything but what I was supposed to do. Like, I would be in shop class with earphones in, listening to French podcasts. I would be on my phone under the desk doing Duolingo. I'll be writing notes to her when I'm supposed to be taking notes on anatomy. Going through high school, we were together in 2014, and in 2015 we graduated. So all this time Maria's been helping me learn French in a whole bunch of different ways, honestly. Like I said, she gave me her old worksheets and workbooks. She brought me a book that's really famous. If you learn French, like, you know what Le Petit Prince is. Mm-hmm. It's a famous book. And she brought me that. I would read it out loud to her, which I
read it to you at lunchtime too.
Oh yes. I would just eat my lunch and listen to her read it. I was like, how is this gonna help me? Like,
yeah, he was mad.
I was like, this is not gonna help me learn.
He wanted to see results.
Now that I'm someone who loves learning languages, that is a great tool. And we actually might even have a video that I can put up of me reading Le Petit Prince out loud. Ça, il faudra me le pardonner. Mon ami ne donnait jamais d'explication. Il me croyait peut-être semblable. Yeah, so that is how she was helping me. We graduated and we went to the same university. So we went to orientation, did the whole college experience at the beginning, and when you go to college, you can test in and out of certain things. At our university, we had to do 4 semesters of language, and she tested out of all 4 semesters. And I tested into the last level, so French 202. We both knew that we were probably gonna study French in school, right?
Yeah. I think even before we chose our first major, which is international affairs, we had decided we definitely want to minor in French. As college went on, he caught up to my level. So when we could, we tried to take I don't even think we took any French classes separate, except for the one that you took that was a 202 class.
Yeah, that semester. And then later in college, senior year, I had to do an individual study, so it was just me and the professor.
But everything in between we took together.
Yeah, we took all the same French classes. French professor pulled us in together and was like, you guys should major in French.
And we were like, say less.
So that's how we ended up being majors instead of minors.
Which was a great decision.
Yeah, it was one of the best decisions we've ever made. One of the benefits to being in the French department is the study abroad opportunities that there are. And we had known about going to Canada, so we decided, like, okay, we're gonna save money, we're going to plan this out, and we're gonna go next year. Okay, so we went to Canada. It was actually Maria's first time going to Canada at all, and especially Quebec, because that's where the trip was to. I had been to Quebec like several times before. So it was kind of funny looking at it now because she had been to France several times before we just got here last year. I don't know if you want to say something about it. It was just awesome. Like,
I mean, you could say the highlight.
Like, I'm getting to it. Okay. We had been dating for about 4 years, and I was like, you know what? I'm about to ask her to marry me. Like, what else am I gonna like? We're not gonna break up. So I came up with a plan. I was like, we're gonna be in Quebec. There's a really beautiful basilica in the middle of the city. It's gonna be snowing. Like, I just had it all planned out. And I went and I got a ring. Getting that ring though, through security, I was literally calling the airports, like, do y'all let rings through the x-rays and stuff? Like, cause I didn't want it to go off and then take it out because she was always with me in the security line. Like, it was crazy. On the first night there, I was like, Maria, we should go take some pictures. It's like photography, because we love photography. I ended up proposing to her right in front of the Basilica. It was crazy. It was in French. I don't know if I made any errors, but who cares? Just in general, Canada was a great time. We spoke French the whole time. We spent all day, every day together. Not that that was really any different, but so that is just another way that like French infiltrates into our relationship and brings us so close together. So after that trip, we had another year of school. It was our senior year. Actually, I kind of skipped over this, but during our French and college experience, we got inducted into, what was it?
It's called Phi Sigma Iota. It's an international foreign language honor society.
Yeah, so that's just another thing that we got to do together that has to do with our French. So fast forward, we're going through senior year and we are graduating. We graduate, finally. College was tough, but at this time, we knew we were gonna go move to France because we graduated in May of 2019, but the month before, we had found out that we got accepted into the TAPIF program. So just another way that French was manifesting itself in our relationship, because not only were we going to travel again together, but we were going to have to navigate living in a foreign country together, France. So we had the whole summer to prepare for that so we can move to France as tranquilly as possible. You can check out our other videos to see how that actually turned out.
Didn't go tranquilly at all.
But during the summer, one thing that we did was we took a French exam. Why did we take a French exam?
We had been talking about taking one because we had somewhat loose plans to continue our education in France. And in order to do that as a foreigner, you need to show like, I speak French at this level.
And one of the great things about this test is that once you have the results, they're lifelong. And we began studying for it together as well.
I don't even know if I would call it studying. It was like revising.
Yeah, we were just revising, like, because the test has a certain format and
Yes.
you have to like get used to the tasks that they're gonna ask you to do. So we tried our best to do that. We wrote all about it on our blog, but this is another instance where we had to like buckle down about French together and do that. So we ended up taking it and passing it, which was awesome. And that set us up for being able to move to France with, you know, calm spirits. So we get everything ready and we move off to France. When I first arrived in France, like, I was like, wow, I'm really here.
I think he was in shock a little
I was like,
bit.
what am I doing? It was great because something that Maria had introduced me to so long ago had turned into, like, I just want to learn it to impress her. Like, hold on, I'm actually like learning it pretty quickly and pretty well. We could make something out of this. Like, we could move there together. And it was just like a far off dream kind of thing. Like, people would ask us like, what are you planning on doing? And I would be like, I'm gonna move to France, I think. And they'd be like, you sure you want to move to France? Like, why would you go there? Like, stuff like that. And I'm glad that we didn't let people deter us from still wanting
there's
to
no
do it.
shortage of people saying it's useless to learn French. It's stupid to go to France.
Yeah.
It's a waste of time. Like, all sorts of over and over and over.
When we got to France, it's like everything kind of just
clicked into place.
Yeah,
it came full circle.
Came full circle. It was great. So now we're in France, doing the program that we applied for back then and that we were thinking about. And actually, it's almost over.
Yeah, we're coming up on the very end of our contracts. We haven't been teaching for about a month now because of coronavirus. Our TAPIF contract is over in about 2 weeks. Stay tuned to see what's next for us.
Yeah, so hopefully, well, our love story is definitely going to continue. hopefully it has a ton of French involved in it, because, you know, that's just something we really like. I guess it will, because even starting this blog and this YouTube channel is something that keeps us communicating about French, talking about our next plans and things like that. So that's just great for our relationship as well. Speaking of the blog, make sure you check it out. Make sure you follow us on all our social media, and don't forget to like this video and tell us about maybe a language that you would like to learn, or if you have learned a language, tell us what kind of doors it's opened up for you. Just talk to us about it in the comments, and I guess we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.